If cholesterol is so dangerous, why is your brain made of it? Why would evolution design a molecule that is literally essential to every cell in your body, from the membranes that hold you together to the hormones that make you feel alive, and simultaneously make it the root of heart disease? It makes no biological sense. The truth is, it never made sense. Cholesterol was never the villain. In fact, the war against cholesterol is one of the greatest medical frauds of the 20th century, a war that made billions for pharmaceutical companies and destroyed the health of millions. What you're about to hear isn't conspiracy theory. It's the story of how you were lied to by an industry that profits from your fear, your confusion, and your slow, steady decline. Cholesterol is not some greasy sludge clogging your arteries like peanut butter in a straw. That's the childish image that was sold to you. The reality is far more sophisticated and empowering. Cholesterol is a repair molecule. It's produced by your liver on demand, used to patch damaged blood vessels, to build sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen, to manufacture vitamin D, and to insulate your neurons in your brain with a substance called myelin. Your very ability to think clearly, to remember, to feel pleasure, to reproduce, all of it is cholesterol dependent. Roughly 25% of all cholesterol in your body is found in your brain. If that sounds like a coincidence, it's not. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and cholesterol is foundational to its structure and function. So how did this essential molecule become public enemy number one? It all started in the 1950s, when heart disease rates were climbing and researchers were desperate to find a culprit. Enter Ancel Keys, a well-dressed, politically connected physiologist with a theory. Dietary fat, especially saturated fat and cholesterol, caused heart disease. He conducted what became known as the 7 Countries Study, a piece of research that supposedly linked fat consumption with heart attacks. The problem? He cherry-picked the data. He had access to statistics from 22 countries, but only used the 7 that supported his hypothesis. The others, which showed no correlation, were quietly ignored. And just like that, a flawed hypothesis became nutritional gospel. The media echoed it. The American Heart Association endorsed it. And by the 1970s, cholesterol was branded a killer. From that moment on, the war on fat was official. Butter was replaced with margarine. Eggs became taboo. Bacon was demonized. Instead, people were told to eat low-fat everything: skim milk, cereal, toast, pasta, canola oil. Real food was tossed aside, and processed, lab-created garbage became the new normal. And what happened next? Heart disease didn't go down, it went up. Obesity skyrocketed. Type 2 diabetes became an epidemic. Mental health disorders exploded. But no one stopped to question the theory, because by then there was money on the line, lots of it. Pharmaceutical companies had found their golden goose: statins, drugs that lower cholesterol, billions in revenue every year, all based on the idea that lowering cholesterol would prevent heart attacks. And the people? They bought it, hook, line, and Lipitor. But here's what they weren't told. Your liver produces about 75% of the cholesterol in your body. That's right. Even if you ate 0 cholesterol, your body would still make it, because it has to. Every single cell membrane in your body requires cholesterol to maintain its integrity and fluidity. It's not optional, it's fundamental. Your adrenal glands and gonads, the organs that produce your sex and stress hormones, are powered by cholesterol. Your bile acids, which allow you to digest fat, are made from cholesterol. Vitamin D, essential for immunity, is synthesized from cholesterol in your skin. This is not a rogue molecule, it's a masterpiece. The irony is, when you reduce cholesterol too much, either through extreme low-fat diets or with statins, you don't just lower LDL, you lower your resilience. You strip your brain of the raw materials it needs to function. People with very low cholesterol are more likely to experience depression, fatigue, memory loss, hormonal issues, sexual dysfunction, and even aggression and suicide. These are not rare side effects. They are logical consequences of depleting the very substance your body relies on for stability, cognition, and emotional regulation. Meanwhile, the actual cause of heart disease, chronic inflammation, goes largely unaddressed. Inflammation is what damages your arteries in the first place. This damage can come from many sources: sugar, seed oils, smoking, stress, poor sleep, sedentary lifestyle. Once that damage occurs, cholesterol shows up to patch it. That's its job. Blaming cholesterol for heart disease is like blaming firefighters for being at the scene of a fire. They're there to help, not to start it. In fact, oxidized LDL, the kind actually involved in plaque, only becomes problematic when your body is already inflamed. And what drives that oxidation? Industrial seed oils, processed carbs, and metabolic dysfunction. Not eggs, not butter, not steak. Statins, meanwhile, block the enzyme your liver uses to make cholesterol, but they also inhibit the production of coenzyme Q10, a compound essential for mitochondrial energy production. That's why so many people on statins feel tired, weak, and mentally foggy. The drug is disrupting their energy production at a cellular level. And the worst part? For people who have no prior cardiovascular disease, statins offer little to no mortality benefit. That's right. They might lower your LDL on a blood test, but they don't necessarily help you live longer. They just make you a compliant patient with pretty numbers and a long-term prescription. Now let's talk about the brain again, because this is where the damage really becomes visible. Your neurons communicate through synapses, and those synapses require cholesterol-rich membranes to function properly. The myelin sheath that protects your neurons is cholesterol-based. When you strip cholesterol from the system, you strip the brain of its ability to communicate efficiently. Low cholesterol is associated with cognitive decline, memory impairment, and even Alzheimer's. Some researchers are even calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes because of the way it links poor metabolic health, insulin resistance, and cholesterol mismanagement. This isn't theoretical, it's happening, and the data is piling up. So let's step back. Populations that eat cholesterol-rich diets, the Inuit, the Maasai, traditional Europeans, often have high total cholesterol and yet almost no heart disease. Why? Because they eat real food. No ultra-processed junk, no seed oils, no sugar bombs. Their cholesterol works for them, not against them. Meanwhile, modern Western societies, cutting cholesterol, eating low-fat, popping statins, are drowning in obesity, autoimmune disease, infertility, and mental illness. The system is broken. Worse, it was designed to break. You want real health? Then you need real food, and you need to respect cholesterol. Eat the yolk, eat the liver, eat the butter. Your ancestors didn't fear cholesterol, they prized it. They gave the most cholesterol-rich foods to women who are pregnant, to warriors, to the elderly, to the sick, because they knew, even without the lab coats, that this was sacred nutrition. They didn't need randomized clinical trials, they had results. The lie about cholesterol was never just about numbers, it was about control. Control your food, control your hormones. Control your hormones, control your behavior. Weak people are easier to manipulate. Sick people are profitable. And people who fear real food are dependent on synthetic replacements. So ask yourself, who benefits when you're afraid of a molecule that your own body produces and your brain is made of? Cholesterol isn't killing you, but the war on it might be. And now that you know the truth, the choice is yours.